everybody. I am Jennifer Baker from Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint and Jennifer Baker Creative. I have a super fun and super easy and pretty inexpensive farmhouse style project to show you today. We are going to be making our own lanterns. And the fun part about this is that we're making them out of 5-gallon paint stir sticks. And we are going to make our lanterns using that and good old Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint. All right, guys, I've got you tilted down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here on the work table. So what we're gonna do is mix up our milk paint to go ahead and get started on our project. Now, if you've never mixed Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint, I bet you've already pretty much done it just with something else in real life, like a protein shake or making mac and cheese or brownies. If you can take a powder and a water and stir them together in a cup, you can mix milk paint. It's very, very easy. I would start with like 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of powder, okay? Then add the same amount of water, 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. And then you're going to use your stirring implement, whatever it is that you picked out, and stir it all together. And I like to use either lukewarm or slightly warm water. It makes milk paint dissolve a little bit faster and a little bit easier. What you're looking for is like melted ice cream. You know how when you're eating ice cream and you get to the bottom and some of it's melted from the heat of your hands, like holding the bowl, and it's like this real creamy sort of a soup? That's basically the consistency that you're going for with this. It shouldn't be runny like skim milk. If it is, you need to add a little bit more powder. And it shouldn't be crazy thick like brownie batter or pancake batter, and it shouldn't be that lumpy either. If it is, like how mine was, just add a little bit more water. You want to stir it for a good solid minute or two. And that'll help the bubbles sort of dissolve out. That'll help the powder and the water to come together, and it'll get you that creamy mixture that you're looking for. Now that our paint is all mixed up, it's had a chance to rest, it's time to do the fun part, which is painting. Woohoo! So we're going to start with the bottom of the lantern. And this is that wooden sign that we picked up. Normally this would be the back where the sawtooth hanger is, but we're actually going to make this the bottom of our lantern. So we got to get this little guy off. So just using like a little screwdriver, just take that bad boy off. So now this is what we're going to paint. Now, we're going to paint the inside all in here and around the edge, but we're not going to paint here because this is the bottom. No one's going to see it. You don't have to paint it. When you're painting this out, you're going to see some lumps and some clumps on the surface at first, but then as you drag your brush across the surface, they brush out. So you may see lumps on your paintbrush, like when you go to dip in, okay? But then when you actually go to paint it on your surface, those get smoothed out by the bristles of the paintbrush. So what we're gonna do is paint 2 coats on all of the sides of our paint sticks and all over the base of this lantern. I want to show you how to paint one of your stir sticks. I'm going to switch brushes and go over to this artist brush. And I haven't stirred my milk paint in a couple minutes, so I'm going to give that a stir. And that is a really, really, really good tip for you. You are going to paint, again, 2 coats of your chosen color. To do the ends, I just kind of pounce the paintbrush up and down. I'm going to keep painting. You keep painting. I'll see you back in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. At this point in the project, all of your stir sticks and your base for your lantern have 2 coats of milk paint on them in your chosen color. I'm using Mora because I'm obsessed with it. It's the best color ever. So what you'll probably notice is as you're feeling your stir sticks and the base of your lantern, they're going to feel gritty and have quite a rough texture to them. So what we need to do is gently knock this down using a very smooth grit of sandpaper. I like using a 220 grit sanding pad. So We're just knocking all of this down very gently by doing some smooth sanding. So you get the idea of how to do this with the stir stick. So you just kind of take your sandpaper or your sanding pad around it. So I would go ahead and finish sanding all of those, my stir sticks, and then don't forget to sand the base of your lantern, and then take a dust cloth, a vacuum cleaner, an oil-free tack cloth, whatever you have on hand, a dust brush. Just brush everything off, get the dust off, and then next we're going to start to build our lantern. Woo! We're going to start the build in each of the 4 corners. We're going to do those first and then keep working our way up. So I thought in order for you to see this part the best, that you should be looking down over top. So we're going to put this stir stick all snugged up right here in this corner, right up against the corner here, and right up against this back ledge right here, and pressing down firmly on the bottom of our lantern. So what we need to do is basically put glue right here and right along the bottom of our stir sticks. Now that our first corner piece is in, we're going to put one right next to it, like this. So we make kind of like an L. See that? So we're going to put glue right down here to attach it to the base of the lantern, and all along the side, because that's what's going to attach to this one that we just put in. And when you're done, you should have an L like that. So let's go ahead and keep going by building the rest of the corners. All right, so let's go ahead and start making the sides of our lantern, because as of right now, it kind of looks like a stool. And we're trying to make a lantern. So what we're going to do is add cross braces on each side of our lantern. We're going to take 2 stir sticks and we are going to glue them in an X pattern. And look, we've got the sides of a farmhouse style lantern starting to come to life. And when you go to glue these in, make sure that you're putting the good cut side up. The rough side that's not cut well, the ugly side, put that down so nobody sees that. Here we go. And that one down there. And hurry, hurry, hurry. There we go. Now this cross brace is going behind this one. So I'm going to glue it in the center as well as the corners to make sure that it stays put. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, just gonna hold that there for a minute. Here we go. And if you get those little strings that come off of your hot glue, don't worry about it. Okay. So that's one. Do another one. There we go. Now, as you're working along, what you may notice is that when you go to make your next set of cross braces, one of your stir sticks is probably going to stick out a little bit. Pun intended. Did you get that? See right here how this one isn't hiding behind this corner post. It's like sticking out a little bit. Don't worry about it, because the next step is to add like a little cap to this part, and watch. When we add the cap, you can't even see it. It's totally hidden. Oh my gosh, you guys, look. It's turning into a lantern. It's turning into a lantern. This crossbar right here is just not behaving. I couldn't get it to adhere. It kept popping off. So what I'm doing is clamping it. I've got a clamp here in this corner and one in this corner. So let me turn it around so you can see. By the way, if you ever wonder why I'm looking in that direction, it's because I have a monitor over there and that's where I can see what I'm doing. But anyway, This is how I would recommend that you get your paint stir sticks to stay in place. So I'm gonna let these dry for a little bit longer, and then we're going to start to make the top of our lantern because look, we're almost there. You should have some paint stir sticks left, and we are going to do some cutting because clearly this paint stir stick is way wider than our lantern is. And what we want to do is cut some pieces so that we have one piece for each of the 4 sides that's going to go right here. So we'll have one here, and then we'll have one here, and so on and so forth. And it just sort of finishes it off, see? So we need to cut these to size. And on the back of this stir stick, we're going to take a pencil or a pen, whatever you have, and just make a mark. And your mark is going to show you where to cut. And what I recommend that you do, so you don't get over to the saw and look at this and be like, oops, which side am I supposed to cut? Is it this one or this one? What I recommend that you do is either put a check mark on the side that is supposed to be cut, or an X on the side that's not supposed to be cut, or you can do both. It's totally up to you. The other thing I recommend is that you work one section at a time. So what I'm gonna do is head over to the saw, cut this, glue it on, turn it, and then do this side. Because if you cut all your pieces at once, or you're gonna forget which piece goes with what side. So here we go. I'm gonna stick it on. Make sure it's square with the edges and with the top. You don't want it to go crooked, because what we're gonna do next is cut a piece to sit on top of this so that you don't see all of these like stir stick ends. Okay, next, I'm gonna use the scrap, the wrong side from this cut, and I'm gonna use it for this cut. And what you wanna do is take this and overlap it with the end of this piece. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a check mark and an X, and I'm gonna go cut this side. All right, I'm gonna continue on with the other 2 pieces, and then you guys do the same, and let's meet back here to do the top. Okay, with the remaining stir sticks that you have left, we need to cover all of this up here. So that way when you're like walking by and you look at your lantern, you don't see all of the tips of these stir sticks. It's not a good look. So what we're going to do is take the remaining stir sticks and cut pieces so that they go over top like this, and they cover all of that. Now, when you go to glue yours on, it might be easier for you to run the hot glue along the edge here of your lantern here, which is what I'm going to try to do carefully. Okay. Okay, we'll put it on, square it up. See? Look at that. Now, we're gonna work on this side. When I go to measure the top piece here, I am going to butt it up against the one that I just put on. See that? I'm gonna go up underneath this time and see if that makes a difference. Okay. As you're putting your tops on, you may notice that your pieces may not sit level. For example, I'm gonna come close and show you the beauty of a table on wheels. Okay. See those pieces up there, especially that one? That was sticking up. And when I went to lay my top piece on it, the top piece sat completely crooked. So what we did is literally sawed off the parts of the stir sticks that were sticking up. And now when I go to put my top piece on, everything sits level and it's not like sticking up like that. When you get to your last top piece, you're going to have to measure using a tape measure. So let's see how mine goes. Mine is going to be 5 1/4 inches from here to here. So you go measure yours, and then we'll meet back here. So what I'm going to do is spend some time going over my lantern, and I'm going to touch up the paint. So I'm just using a little artist's brush, and anywhere that I see a little blemish or like something that needs to be fixed, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. But boy, these are looking so good. I'm going to make my handle out of this stuff, which is called jute. And I know you've seen this before. This is a very, very quintessential farmhouse type of material. I figured out how long I wanted how tall I wanted my handle to be. And I cut 9 pieces that were the same length. And I braided them, see? So this is 9 strings of jute that I braided together. And I left the end undone. My handle's going to go in here, come around, and go through this side. And we're going to drill a hole in here using a 1/2 inch drill bit. So here we go. We're going to eyeball so that it's centered left and right and centered up and down. And we are going to gently drill. I'm not pressing down, okay? Remember, this is paint sticks. So I am very happy with the way that this looks raw, meaning that it doesn't have a top coat on it. So I'm not going to add one. I like it just the way that it is. If you want to add a top coat on your lantern, now would be the time to do that. And the reason why you can't do it before you build is the hot glue won't adhere to a wax finish. It won't adhere to hemp oil. Trust me, I tried. So you have to wait until the very end to put a finish on this if you want to. So we've got one hole here and one hole on the other side. So we're going to take the non-knotted end of our handle. So you're going to thread your braided handle through. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So now the knot is underneath of this top ledge. Okay, you can see it right there. And we're going to take this over top, and we're going to thread it through this hole. Now for your second hole, you're bringing it in from the outside. So you're coming in this way. So in we go. So now what I'm going to do is finish braiding what has unraveled, because that might happen to you guys. Now that we are all re-braided, sort of, we're going to make a knot to lock this in place. So just make a loop, take your end, and kind of scoot your knot as far down to the end as you can. And now we have a finished farmhouse lantern. I'm so glad that you guys decided to join us for this awesome project. I'm Jennifer Baker, and on behalf of Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint, keep moving mountains in your home.